We're here to talk about pets, pet nutrition, and wellness, anything that can help our fur children live a longer, vibrant, and happier lives.
All right.
Yeah. Welcome to Vital Pet
Vital
Life
Pet Life.
Podcast. Hey everyone! Last time we talked about dog food ingredients, organic treats, and a whole lot more when it comes to pet nutrition. Now we are talking about home remedies, which is more interesting because this is stuff that we have on our cupboard or in our house that we can actually use when we have real-time situations for our fur babies and we don't have time to go to the vets.
Well, hey, Dottie, and hey, everyone. Thank you for listening. I know that most pet parents are eager to learn about more tips for real-time situations. And so let's dig in.
Yes. Well, I won't deny I'm one of those fur parent who will be needing these tips in case I don't have time to get hold of a vet or we're traveling. So this is very interesting for me.
Well, awesome. So what I'm going to try to do is break it down into favorite home remedies, things that you should take caution with, and then things that you shouldn't give at home. So first, one of my favorite home remedies is fasting and a bland diet for any kind of GI signs, so vomiting and diarrhea. Now, this would be if your pet still has a good attitude, they're still happy, they want to eat. So if they're not wanting to eat, they're lethargic, that would be a time where you would take them to the vet. You wouldn't just fast them and do the bland diet. So just beware of that. But what I recommend for fasting is 12 to 24 hours, no food. If they're keeping down water, you can offer water small amounts just to make sure they don't get dehydrated. But if they're vomiting water too, that's another sign. Let's not wait. Let's take them to the vet. So if through that fasting, the 12 to 24 hour period, they haven't vomited, their diarrhea is improving, their attitude is still good, then you can start to introduce a bland diet of boiled chicken. So that would be chicken breast, no oil, no salt, no seasonings, no skin. So just the chicken breast and then white rice. And again, no seasoning or salt or anything like that. I would feed that in a ratio of 1 part rice to 1 part chicken, small, frequent amounts. So if it's 1 or 2 tablespoons at a time, every couple of hours, to just kind of slowly introduce food back to their system. The other thing that I really like to add to this is canned pumpkin puree, just a small dollop, the stuff you would make a pumpkin pie from, but without the spices. And pumpkin puree is one of my favorite sources of fiber for dogs and cats. First of all, because they love it. Every dog I've had has just gone nuts for it. It's so tasty to them, but it's also got a good mix of soluble and insoluble fibers. So if their stools are running a little bit hard, it'll soften them up. If they're running a little bit soft, it'll firm them up. So it doesn't usually cause diarrhea or constipation. It's a good balance.
Now, for instances wherein the animal has diarrhea, what is it? I think having the bland diet will help, or fasting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the point of the fasting is just to clear out their system. If they're vomiting, if they're having diarrhea, we just want whatever is causing that. If it's whatever's inside there, we want that just to go through and not introduce anything new to their system. And so we're giving their GI tract a chance to empty out and to just rest without having to digest anything.
What about allergies, Dr. Amber? I've been getting this a lot from other vets because there are some instances wherein you don't have an allergy medicine, or you don't get what I mean. What is the thing with giving the number one or pretty much common medicine in our pantry, which is Benadryl?
Yeah. So Benadryl is really safe. That's usually the first drug that I recommend for allergies. So, the good things are it's cheap, it's widely available, it's very safe. The downside is that a small percentage, I would say 10 to 20% of dogs are actually going to show a good amount of improvement on Benadryl. But I think it's a good place to start because if your dog is one of those that's going to respond, let's give it to them. If they don't respond, then we haven't done anything to harm them. So it's
Yeah,
very, very safe. Yeah.
that's great.
And along those same lines, so dogs with allergies typically have really itchy feet
Mhm.
and they'll just sit and lick and chew with their paws. I'm a big fan of warm water baths for those, especially if it's like an environmental allergy. They're going outside, they're walking around, they're picking up pollen and grass and stuff on their paws, and that can just make them really, really itchy. So, warm water bath just to spray down those paws, remove allergens. You can even do Epsom salts
Ah,
for five
okay.
to 10 minutes. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I didn't
warm
even know about
water.
that.
Yeah. Warm water, a little bit of Epsom salt, let them soak. Sometimes, in a bigger dog, this would be hard to like get all four paws. So,
Mhm.
if they don't mind the bathtub, you could just fill up a little bit of warm water in there and have them stand in the bathtub. That might be easier than trying to do one paw at a time with a bucket or something.
Yeah, but that's awesome.
So
Like Epsom
yeah.
salt is pretty much accessible in every household.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of use that
Yep.
ourselves. What about
Um,
oatmeal? Like I heard so much about oatmeal. Like I don't even know how it's being like administered. Like again, because we're talking about itchy skin and trying to figure out like how we can relieve them. Um,
yeah.
yeah, how do you do that? Like, I mean, is it something recommended? Like, or do you have to like soak the oatmeal and put it in the bath, or I don't know how.
Oh, I've never used that. I mean, there are oatmeal shampoos that are over
Oh,
the counter,
okay.
and that tends to be a hypoallergenic kind of, decreases some inflammation and some itching on the skin. So you could use that to bathe as well. Normally, well, and I live in a really dry climate. And so I normally don't recommend a bath more than once a month because it can be
Yeah.
drying.
Mhm.
But for dogs with allergies, you can do more frequent baths, even if you're not using a shampoo every time, just the same as, spraying down their paws. If you're spraying down their whole body, then you're removing the stuff that's causing the itch. So, if they're itchy, they may do better with more frequent bathing to remove that stuff from their skin.
Oh, okay. Also, like now or that we're still talking about itchy stuff, like our guys sometimes like our babies like they step on a lot of stuff. Like I remember like when Tuxedo stepped on like a gum one time. I don't even know where he got it or anything that's like sticky on his paw
Mm-hmm.
pad. I was told to use was this peanut butter and it did help or olive.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Now that I haven't heard, I would usually recommend like olive oil or coconut oil, something like that. And maybe that's the point of the peanut butter because peanut butter is typically pretty oily.
Yeah.
And it just kind of helps to form an oil layer between the two and helps peel off better.
Mhm. Yeah, it did work for him.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but I was just like curious. They're like, I think it's the oil from the peanut butter.
Mm-hmm. I
Help.
bet so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's less invasive too.
Yeah. The other thing that I really like is just a triple antibiotic ointment, hydrocortisone. Most people usually have that
Oh.
around for themselves. I've recommended that a lot for minor cuts and scrapes. Of
Mhm.
course, you want to make sure that they're not able to lick it off. Small
Yeah.
amounts won't really harm them if they lick it off, but it's not doing any good if it's not sitting on the skin. And so, if it's in an area where they can reach by licking, then I would just put a cone on or, put a t-shirt over them or some kind of light wrap on the limbs just to make sure that the medicine stays there and does its job.
Wow. So that's exciting. At least we covered like the most important thing and a
Mm-hmm.
couple of stuff that we can find in our house that we can use, like talking about bland food if the dog is having stomach ache or basically allowing the dog within how many hours again? 12 to 24 hours to just
Yes, 12 to 24 hours of fasting.
fast. Yeah, just to basically
Yeah.
clear out their GI system with whatever it is that they were able to take in. Secondly, like the Benadryl is really one of the things that we can use for itchy skin or
Yes.
if like mild allergens. And
And let
giving
me just say, it doesn't have to be the store brand or it doesn't have to be the name brand Benadryl. It
oh,
can also be the store brand equivalent. So the drug
mhm,
name is diphenhydramine.
mhm.
And you want to make sure that that is the only active ingredient. Some of those formulas do come with a decongestant. And so we don't want a decongestant. We want to make sure it's just diphenhydramine.
Oh, okay. And what about the milligrams? I usually like one vet prescribed Tuxedo that it's okay to take 25 milligram because like 1 milligram per pound, but I'm kind of
Yes.
scared. I just gave it to him like half and it
Right.
helped. It worked for him.
Yeah, yeah. Usually 1 milligram per pound is the dose. If you want to be extra cautious and give them a lower dose and see if it helps, you can. And then you can increase it if necessary. And it can be given every 8 hours.
Wow, that's great. Is there anything else that you think that we can use, Dr. Amber, that is in the house, like other than the Epsom salt, peanut butter that I mentioned? Not
Mm-hmm.
much about the oatmeal. Like I think I took it literally when I was reading online. Yeah, but yeah, is there anything else that you can add, like that comes up in your head?
This one I actually put in the caution category, essential oils. So
Oh,
I'm a big fan of essential oils. I use them all over my house. I use them on myself and my kids. But, just like people can have sensitivities to certain plants, I mean, essential oils are very strong. Obviously, they're distilled down and they're very, very concentrated. And so we want to just be extra cautious about using essential oils around pets, dogs, and especially cats, birds, other more exotic animals may even be more sensitive than dogs and cats. And so we just want to be really careful about what we use and consult your veterinarian before using any kind of essential oil on your pet.
let me just, make it clear, like essential oil and putting in their body or giving it to
Yes.
administering.
Yeah. Putting it on, also diffusing it.
Oh,
Again, I have an essential oil diffuser. I diffuse it in my house, but they can, those oils diffused into the air are still very powerful if they're being breathed in. And so we just want to be extra cautious.
oh, got it. Wow. Wow. So other than like all this other stuff too, we had to be really careful, especially like, around them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a friend who has environmental allergies, and she is extremely sensitive to essential oils because she has so many plant allergies, and
Oh,
that just makes sense. Like it's just very concentrated, and for her, I mean, essential oils are a no-go. And animals, they tend to be more sensitive than humans are to those oils.
for sure. But it's funny to think that maybe because like how it's chemically altered already, right? Because I figured like in the natural world, in their world, I feel some of these essential oils are harvested using plants, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
could be fine for animals, but that's interesting that it's not good for them.
Yeah, and there are some that you can probably use safely in really small amounts or very diluted. But yeah, you just want to check with your veterinarian to make sure before you use anything.
That's amazing.
I've even burned myself with essential oils using them non-diluted. I thought, oh, this
Oh,
is fine. It's natural, and then
you burned yourself?
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because they're so potent. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Well, this is a very interesting episode. Like, thank you for giving us insight on stuff
Yeah,
things we can.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Just quickly, too, I want to just cover my last category of things to never give. So,
Oh,
any kind of human pain medications, over
oh,
the counter or otherwise. There are some medications that are used in humans that are prescribed by veterinarians, but typically around your house, you're going to have Tylenol, you're going to have ibuprofen, aspirin. I would recommend never ever give those. Not only are they dangerous to pets, but if you give something like that and then you decide, oh gosh, my pet is still in pain, we need to take them into the vet, then
Mhm.
it really limits what the vet can prescribe that's
Oh,
appropriate for your animal.
oh, wow.
And so, and just a note about aspirin, because, in the past, I have had vets or clients tell me, oh, my vet told me I could give aspirin. Aspirin is kind of the least dangerous out of the Tylenol, ibuprofen, aspirin. But there was a study that came out quite a while ago that showed 100% of pets, 100% of dogs given aspirin had bleeding in their stomachs.
Oh,
And if it
wow.
wasn't outright bleeding, it was microscopic bleeding
Oh
still.
my goodness.
So yeah, it's still not safe. I would never, as a veterinarian, I would never give my dog aspirin.
Yeah, just bring to the vet if
Yeah.
just really ask. Like, oh my God. Like, I think I won't forgive myself if I give it to my dog and, he ended up like
Yeah.
getting hurt.
Yep. A couple of other things. This is not necessarily a home remedy, but if you see signs in the eyes, so squinting, redness, cloudiness, scratching, rubbing, don't wait. I never ever recommend just like, let's put in saline solution or let's do this. For eyes, always take them to the vet. Obviously sight is so critical. And I've
Uh-huh.
seen some pretty bad cases where it didn't look so bad at first. We just kind of wait to see. I would never wait to see on any kind of eye problem. And
Mm.
then if there's blood in the urine.
Oh God.
So, yeah, those two things, in addition to what I've already said about the GI problems, if
Uh-huh.
there's nonstop vomiting and diarrhea and they're lethargic, they're not wanting to eat, those type of things, don't wait.
Oh gosh. Wow. Okay. That's a good thing to know.
The list I came up with.
Yeah, but it's very helpful and insightful, as I said. And, hopefully, our listeners will be able to learn out of those things that you just mentioned, because I'm learning something out of it.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Don't forget to follow our channel for more talks about tips and pets and advice and other fun stuff.
Happiness, vibrance, and longevity for our fur babies and our planet.
Once again, thank you for tuning in. This is Dr. Amber, your official veterinarian at Vital Pet Life.
And this is Donnie, your chief treat lady at Vital Pet Life.
I hope these home remedies go a long way.
Have a awesome week. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.